Friends and family, greetings, greetings. How are you? I hope that all is well with you, and I hope that all is well with your families. Welcome back to the channel, and welcome back to another video. Okay, guys, so here we are. We are at my 3-year mark since being implanted with my spinal cord stimulator, guys. You guys have seen me from my lowest of lows to my highest of highs to some really good points. And here we are today. It's amazing how fast time flies, guys. But what I can notice, or what I can say I notice about having a spinal cord stimulator, I can tell a huge difference from where I was before I've gotten my implant to where I am now and what my outlook is going to look like moving forward. So real quick, guys, let me go ahead and get into the summary. We're going to talk about 9 topics briefly. Okay, so we're going to talk about how do I feel 3 years later. Then we're going to talk about how good is my SCS working 3 years later. We're going to talk about how good does my SCS address my pain. We're going to talk about how my condition is holding up since having the spinal cord stimulator. We're going to get into some safety pointers where we're going to talk about posture. We're going to talk about minding your surroundings and your personal activities. Then I'm going to give you some programming pointers, being patient with your rep, taking your time with your rep and finding a program that works well for you. Then we're going to talk about complications, if I have had any complications. Then I will give you some travel pointers, and then we will have the closing, and that will conclude today's video. So without further ado, guys, how do I feel 3 years later? Right now, guys, my joint pain is a freaking 0. My nerve pain is a 0. I'm pain free. I've been pain free now for nearly 2 months. The only time I have problems with pain or I encounter any pain is when I am overly active and or if I move the wrong way, and we'll get to that in a moment. But overall, I feel a huge difference between where I was this time last year and the first year. Okay. There are a lot of things that I can do now that I couldn't do then. There are a lot of things I can do now that I couldn't do last year. So it is indeed a huge indicator that I am a successful candidate and I've had a successful outcome. And reason being is because I adhered closely to the doctor's orders. If you paid attention to all my videos, you noticed that I was dressed really light and I was very incendiary because it is very important to take your time to give your body adequate time enough to heal properly so you can have those really good benefits opposed to getting up too fast and trying to pick this up and save the world and you end up hurting yourself, you know? So thankfully, so far, so good. How good is my SCS working 3 years later? Well, my SCS, guys, it seems to be doing this job. I was like reprogrammed in January of 2023, and I got reprogrammed on yesterday at the time of shooting this video. And right now, guys, I can see that this system is working really well because I'm really not requiring to get with my reps a lot. I'm not going to the doctor a lot. I am not taking any heavy pain medications to address my pain that I do feel when I do have breakthrough joint pain. I'm just simply taking gabapentin that is prescribed by my primary care physician, of course. And then he prescribed ibuprofen to take as needed. And I just threw away a whole freaking jug of those things because they expired. It's like I rarely need them, but it's going to boil down to how you move in your posture and everything. So how good is my SCS addressing my pain, guys? On a scale of 1 to 10, right now, I would give my spinal cord stimulator a 9. Okay. I wouldn't give it a 10 because I'd be lying because, I still do have my moments, if I move, like, for example, I'm in this office chair and it swivels. I'm afraid to move my hips from left to right because if I move the wrong way, guys, I will have some disc slippage And when my disc slip, it gets on my nerve root. My nerve root is displaced and it causes a lot of pain. So if I'm not careful and I move the wrong way, you know, I feel that, and that is the only thing that'll cause pain. But as long as I'm mindful of what I'm doing, guys, everything is smooth sailing. Okay. So how's my condition holding up? You just heard me mention something about disc slippage because they want to do a partial spinal fusion on me. All right. Like I've said several times throughout my series, guys, I really don't want to do any more surgeries unless it is to save my life. Okay. So anything else, I feel like it is unnecessary. I can deal with, having, a displaced nerve root, whole body impairment in my spine, and disc slippage. I can deal with that, but I just don't want to do a a partial fusion because I don't know how my body will respond to it, and I don't know if I will feel as good as I do now, opposed to having to go through that whole surgery and deal with all the aches and pains of the recovery time and cobwebs throughout that period. So right now, the spinal cord stimulator is really doing a really, really, really good job with balancing, how my body is being treated. So let's go ahead and get into some safety pointers. You heard me mention something about posture. All right. It is very important that you exercise great posture. Be mindful of how you move. The doctor says no twisting and bending and all that stuff while you're recovering. But if you're a person like me that have disc slippage and have issues with, your disc slipping and getting on nerves and everything, it'll cause your coverage to change. And as a result, you have to go back and get reprogrammed. And if your back is not properly aligned, guys, your programming is not going to be a success because everything is still going to be jacked. What is going to happen is you need to do whatever it is to reverse to get back into that position to get your back to click back. Go see a chiropractor, go see your doctor. Don't take my advice on that, but make sure that your back is always properly lined because proper alignment means proper coverage, even coverage, not like this, not like that, but like that. All right. At one point, I was running the double stack programs because I had disc slippage issue and it got on that nerve really bad. And I had to run stack programs. You guys remember that that's what happened to me when I was doing the laundry last August, I believe. Okay. And I winged down and I'm back to the single programs and they are, doing this job. Minding your surroundings. You have to be very mindful of what is around you guys. You have to be very safe. Okay. Now, just because we have this system in our body and we get up every day and we go about our day to day task and we have not encountered any issues, it doesn't mean that there's a possibility that you can encounter an issue. And you can avoid these things by being mindful of the things that you shouldn't be around. And for more information on that, I highly suggest that you check out the what do you call it? The health and safety sheet leaflet thingy. Google it. Whatever the model of your SES is, look that up and look up safety and hazard and all that stuff. It'll give you a sheet and it'll tell you everything that you should or shouldn't be around, like arc welders and high voltage power lines and generators and you can't get MRIs with certain models and high frequency magnets, high frequency radio frequencies, different type things that can interfere with you. Even the iPhone 12, it has a gigantic magnet on the back. But if you take this thing and have it too close to your SES system, it'll cause your coverage to change. And speaking of coverage changing and everything, if you pay really close attention to some things and you've been implanted for some time, guys, you're going to notice when it is time to charge. For some odd reason with me, in my case, it's like my generator feels like it warms up when it's time to charge. Or it feels like my leads kind of warm up when it's time to charge. And when I look at my remote control, lo and behold, it's time to charge. Okay. Um, your day-to-day activities. Okay, once you have healed up entirely, like me right now, I'm 3 years out, I'm totally healed from my surgical procedure. So all I feel right now is my SES coverage and the limitations from when I reach the end of the line. Okay. Um, Doing simple things around the house like laundry, that's gonna not gonna be a problem once you get all the way healed up. But still be mindful, be safe, work smart, not hard, and don't do something to hurt yourself. Okay. Because like I did, I just tried to pick up a basket and it wasn't even above my weight limit. and it still caused my disc to slip. And I had to go through that whole ordeal last year. So that those things can be avoided if you are being mindful of your activities or what you're doing. A lot of us want to get back to our day-to-day lives after we get our implant, but we have to be very mindful of the fact that you got cut. And that is a serious surgery because the FDA, the Food and Drug Administration here in America, they classify the spinal cord stimulators as a high-risk device. All right. Not to scare you guys, but as long as you watch and be mindful of what you're doing, you'll know what you can and can't do and shouldn't be around. And you'll be able to tell the differences. Like, for example, when you go through the metal detectors at the local stores, you may feel your coverage. It might kind of increase a little bit. It might become weaker. My system has never shut off. It's funny. I've shut off freaking card reader terminals. I've crashed terminals and registers, but I haven't had any issues. So far, so good. Knock on wood. Okay. Programming pointers. All right, guys. So when it comes to getting with your reps, man, I know sometimes it may take a while for them to get back with you, but you have to be mindful of what it is that they're doing. And they are in a very fast paced job. You never know. They may be in the OR for most of the day. They may be reprogramming for most of the day, or they might be working in a whole different city that is close to your city. If you're willing to drive to go see them, I highly encourage you to be patient with them, guys. And when you do have the opportunity to sit down and have your reps program you, make sure you take your time. Don't get in a rush. Okay. And just because your rep put on a particular program and they'll ask you, how does it feel? It doesn't necessarily mean that that program will be very effective, because somewhere along the line on your spine is going to come a spot that's going to be the trouble spot that your coverage will not reach, because that one program is not a one size fit all. Do what I do. For example, when I had went in and got myself reprogrammed yesterday, I had my rep to refresh all my programs because my back had slipped back into place because I rearranged with the basement and I had this little click sensation and it felt odd. I thought I heard something. I thought I broke something. I shut my SCS off and I took a seat and waited a moment and I turned the volume all the way, not the volume, I turned the intensity all the way to 0. I turned it on and slowly crept back up, crept back up, crept back up. And I noticed that my coverage was right back where it needed to be. So I got with my rep and now everything is here. I feel exactly like I felt when I left the hospital when I got implanted. Everything is balanced. So I'm wearing my orthopedic back brace. If you don't mind, I'll stand up and show it to you. You know, kind of go around my back like a championship belt. It's like I'm wearing a belt backwards. I'm not wearing this thing because I feel pain. I'm wearing this for the support to make sure my discs don't slip. Because if my discs slip, guys, that's going to cause me pain. And I don't want to feel pain. So I want to be very, very mindful of what I'm doing. Okay. But yeah, take your time with your reps. Make sure that you get them to program you adequately. They design the programs and you can tell them where to make it go. You can tell them to make it go on the left side, the right side, both sides, balance, this side higher, this side lower, even, whatever. They can make it narrow. They can make it wide. They can make the coverage go up your spine and they can make the coverage go down your spine. So with the program that I'm sitting on now, it's my favorite program, guys. And this program has been very effective. Hold that thought. But I've been running this program and I had him to refresh it because I'm now back balanced. And now I feel like I felt when I left the hospital. Everything is so balanced right now. So I found a program that worked and I'm sticking with it. Once you find that program that worked, hang out on that program for a minute. This program that I'm running is so sensitive to where it is effective during the daytime. I feel so good. My mental mindset right now is hashtag unbothered. Okay. I don't feel bothered. Okay. But I found that program that worked and I'm not in no rat race to try to check out all the other programs. Now, if my program stop being effective, that is the only reason why I go to the next one. Okay. When it comes to programming and everything, I was talking with my rep. He was telling me about, in some cases that it's some people that he don't program for 2 years. There was one guy that was in the group that I got, that got implanted when I did in November 2020. He haven't seen that guy since he got programmed. Hopefully all is well with him, but he haven't heard from him. And then there was another lady. He reached out to her and check on her. She said she just she's afraid to reprogram it because it feels so good. She don't want to mess around and get something that don't work. So stick with what works for your body, guys. Shout out to everyone who is still here listening to me go on and on about this, but I'm going down a timeline and I'm dropping some very valuable gems for those of you who are considering this system and looking at me over the years. Okay. Complications. Have I had any complications? At this point, guys, I haven't had any adverse issues outside of the incident where I was doing laundry and my back slipped out of place and got on the nerve root and caused me to have to go get a CT scan and all that stuff. I rejected the myogram, but that was the only issue that I've had. I haven't had any issues with like malfunctions. My programs haven't shut off on its own. So far, so good. Knock on wood. Um, my eating habits is still kind of crazy. I don't feel hunger pains, y'all. I have to set reminders on my phone. And when the clock go off, I go fix my food. I eat, no problem. It's not like I'm forcing myself to eat. I eat like it's no problem. But the fact of the matter is that pain from my stomach because my viscera is being overstimulated is not reaching my brain because it's being masked by the paresthesia, obviously. And as a result, it's causing my appetite to decrease. And when my appetite decreases, I'll go, 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 and I won't eat, you know? So, other than that, those are the only complications that I am experiencing. You know, I haven't had any issues like when I go through metal detectors. I've been to the courthouse, for registration issues and stuff like that. Um, Another little legal thing, not criminal or nothing like that. But, I haven't had any complications from the equipment there. And I really take my hat off to everyone that work in those departments because, people who are starting to get implanted in large amounts with the spinal cord stimulator system, and they obviously are aware of it. It is a high risk. It's classified as a high risk device, and no one wants to be on the hook for that. So they are being adequately trained and they know how to handle you. And if you ever encounter a situation where you're having an issue bypassing security, make sure you reach out to the supervisor. You request the supervisor immediately. Okay. Travel pointers. I've had the opportunity to drive from my home to Tennessee and back. No issues. I had a pillow, this little trusty old pillow. I no longer need it in the car, but I keep it here, right here, because this is what I do. And I spend a lot of time here editing videos. Um, I've had the opportunity to drive to Ohio without the pillow. Turned out well. Only thing that bothered me was stiffness. I've had the opportunity to go through to TSA to flying with the mySCS, no problem at all. The only thing that I highly encourage you guys to do is when you guys are getting ready to go through TSA, make sure you get all your stuff together. Make sure you have your charging base together. Put your puck in a sandwich bag. Put the charger in another bag. You have to put tape over them freaking lead things, guys. Did you know that? Yeah, you have to take a piece of tape and cover your leads up because if you cause that thing to come in contact with that base while that plane is in the air, there's a chance that the speed of it can cause some issues and cause it to arc and spark or whatever. Not to scare nobody, but we're talking about some OSHA type things. I have an OSHA card, so please excuse that. That was a random rant. But seriously, put tape over those leads. All right. Make sure you have all your cords and cables neatly wrapped up so TSA can identify what's what. Make sure you have your stickies. Make sure you have your remote. Make sure you have your implant card. Whenever you go to travel, guys, make sure you bring your entire collection of supplies with you. Never leave home without your charging base. Never leave home without the stickies or the puck or your cords, chargers, or the remote. Bring it with you at all times because when I drove to Ohio, I almost left mine at home and messed around and got to a family function up there and put it on the silent program and sat on it for 2 hours. And I felt that feeling like, oh, I feel like I got a charge and looked at I had one freaking bar left. Thankfully, I had my station back at the hotel and I was able to charge up because my system probably would have died on the way home. Okay. So make sure you always bring that stuff with you. And when you go on to fly on planes, make sure that you have your stuff neatly put together. Okay. Make sure you have that card with you. Okay. Your implant ID card. with your real ID or a passport or whatever that you toting with you. Make sure you have all this stuff in your hand and explain to people what you can and what you can't do. Some people say, hey, I walk clean through the magnet. The safety sheet of the spinal cord stimulator say you should not do that. You have to be bypassed by it. It's like getting one with the security one. You know, it's like trying to get an MRI on a machine knowing that you shouldn't. To avoid whole body injury to yourself, guys, please adhere to the safety sheet. Because when you do that, you will not have any issues whatsoever. Everything is going to be fine. You're going to have a very, very good turnout. My rep told me personally, I've been a very successful candidate for this. And it's been, what, nearly a year since I was programmed. He probably won't see me next year. The next time I probably see him, if I'm lucky enough to make sure I keep my body and everything in line, I probably won't see him until it's time for me to get my system replaced. He checked my battery out and my projection is 4 to 5 years before I need a replacement. So guys, that's going to wrap up today's video. So I'd like to thank everyone who have been following my journey. You know, everyone that has been interacting with this series of mine, all your comments, all your best wishes, all your thoughts, prayers, your questions. I really appreciate all of that from the bottom of my heart, you know, because sometimes I have had moments to where I'm not feeling too well mentally, you know, over things that is beyond my control. And I turn to my channel and just go to scrolling through my comment section and I get a smile put on my face based on these questions and answers and the remarks that I gotten from all my friends and family. And I am very appreciative of you guys and your support for this channel. If you're new to the channel and seeing me for the first time, guys, feel free to mash the subscribe button and turn on post notifications so you don't miss when I release another video. Also, check out my spinal cord stimulator patient playlist, guys. It's going to contain every single video that I've ever created from the point of my trial to the point of my permanent to this point beyond. For other videos from other people who have had their spinal cord stimulators permanently implanted and they are sharing their story and their journey, make sure you check out DJ Porkchop, check out Life with Liza Jane, and check out Nancy Robbins' journey. I will leave handlers to their channel in the description section of this video. I have the link to the playlist in the description section of this video. Now, I do thank all those who stayed until the end, and until we meet again, please stay safe, hold it in the road, and I'll see you guys in the next video. All right? Peace.